Hi friends, welcome back to another video. Today I have something kind of fun planned. I thought that it would be a really fun idea to take you through all of my writing Pinterest boards. If you have never heard of Pinterest, where have you been? But also Pinterest is one of my, if not my favorite social media platform. I love Pinterest. I will leave what my Pinterest looks like just in general over here. I've been using Pinterest pretty much since I started my blogging journey. So yeah, Pinterest is the powerhouse for inspiration, quotes, aesthetics, you name it. Pinterest has got it. Truly one of the best platforms out there, in my opinion. And that's where I store all of my writing inspiration. So today I thought it would be fun to kind of just take you through all of my writing boards, and show you like what they are and how I use Pinterest. And maybe we can start a Pinterest board together for a new idea that I've got brewing in my brain, which I need to stop and not think about because I have a novel to finish from NaNoWriMo. If you didn't catch my NaNoWriMo vlogs, I'll leave them linked up here. And you can get caught up with Project Spellrunner, which I am still currently working on. I will actually be replotting that and sharing that with you guys. But today we're just gonna have a chill, laid back, writing adjacent vlog. If you have Pinterest, down below, like, what? If you have a Pinterest, let me know how you use it down below. If you want to link a writing board or whatever, feel free to do that in the comment section. And yeah, let's get right into the video. I'm gonna record it on my computer, hopefully. So, see you in a sec. All right, welcome to my writing Pinterest. Basically, this is just my Pinterest. But the first board that we're going to start off with is the board that I affectionately refer to as writing inspo for when you're stuck. So this is where I kind of just dump anything that's like writing related or writing adjacent. So I put my own videos in here. I love this quote. The villain will always be the villain if the hero tells the story. I think this is such a good quote, and like if I can ever figure out how to write a story that does this quote justice, that will be amazing. I put like references, so we've got character flaws. I really like little references like this. They're really quick and easy to pull up if I'm stuck. I love these like sentence starters. I am terrible at writing dialogue. Dialogue is so hard to get right. I think we can, as writers, all relate to that. So I like having dialogue starters just to kind of like get my brain thinking about how to start dialogue. So this is some angsty sentence starters, which like I love. Can we just talk to me, please? Like, I'm done. And 10 ways to hit your reader in the gut. So this board is just like all things like this. Not a lot of aesthetic, a lot of fictional kiss things that end me. So like things that are relatable as like a reader that I know I want to incorporate into my own stories, and that sort of thing. I love sometimes little inspiration. It would not be one of my videos if I didn't constantly get interrupted by a toddler. So anyways, where were we? This is like a little inspiration thing that I saw, which like, I just loved this, like the idea of death blowing bubbles. Is there anything else I can say about this? Not really. Just kind of find it inspiring. So yeah, what else is here? Plot twists and B plots that are romantic, references for ending. One of the things on here that I really like is this tweet thread from V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab. And it says, I get asked a lot about how I create characters, so I thought I'd answer here. I start with 3 questions. So I just love having these three questions in mind, not only when you're creating characters, but when you're writing and in the process of writing as well, because your characters, like these answers to the questions, did that make any sense? The answers that your characters have for these questions are going to drive what they do within your story. So I just love that. What else is on here? That looks like, I like this words to use more often. So things like these that just kind of get your brain thinking about like different words, different ways to describe things. 'Cause you know, you can only say beautiful or whatever so many times in your manuscript. And this is the other reason why I love Pinterest, is that when you create a board, you can go to this more ideas page and it will literally just like pull similar things. So let's scroll through here a little bit and see if there's anything that we love. Villain motive prompts. Here's a thread on what to do in your opening scene. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna save that. Yeah, so this is just kind of like a place where I dump writing references in, or if I have like a story inspiration thing, but I don't really know where it's going yet, I'll put it in there. So let's hop into one of my other boards. I'm sure this is the board that you are all the most excited about seeing if you clicked on this video and you're a writer. This is my writing inspiration board. So this is where I collect inspiration for my writing projects. So like most writers' brains, this board is complete chaos. I don't even have all of my projects in here because I forgot I was doing this and then started making separate boards for things, which you'll see in a minute. But so yeah, here are, I don't really have any pins outside of these boards in here. So this is a Prince of Thorns and Ruins, is just like a one chapter thing that I wrote randomly based on the aesthetic vibes in this, which I actually kind of love, and I feel like maybe I should go back to that. My queen Octavia from the 100. So yeah, just this is, I mean, bitter are the wars between brothers. I feel like there is something here, but I haven't given it enough time to really focus. Character name inspiration, just like a place to keep character names that I like. I don't have very many here either, but again, I can go here and pull up a bunch of names that are similar. Yeah, like this is really cool. I like the name Brina. I'm gonna add this here. Marlo, that's my daughter's name. Lilura, that's pretty cool. I like that one. Obviously, sometimes you get names of characters that already exist in popular fiction. So that is what that board is. And I do use that if I'm making characters. This Good Witch Meets Ghost board, you might remember that my witchy trials vibes story that I've currently shelved, but this is kind of the aesthetic. I kind of have been wanting to go back to that story, so maybe I'll replot that as well, because I did not finish it. This literally has nothing in it because it's a very hard aesthetic to pin down. This is again like a little like one shot that I was writing. Again, there's only like three pins in this. I like this. This is important ship tropes. So just like romance tropes, character inspiration for the main character in that. This is inspired by a song. What else? I don't even know what's in this shelved project. There's a lot of pins in here. This short story collection is something that I'm working on, and these are just kind of like the inspirations between the short stories in that collection. One of them is about vampires who hide in a library on the summer solstice. And then this one is like a Anakin Skywalker redemption story that we don't need to get into. But this like novel stuffs board is also just like a place where I pin random inspiration. And what else is in here? Let's look at this shelved projects, because I truly have no idea what's in here. Zombie dystopian vibes. Just a lot of inspiration. For romance is something I struggle with writing. Also, oh, I know some of these, I was like, why are there Romeo and Juliet? I had the idea of writing like sort of a Romeo and Juliet retelling that I got really into, but never went anywhere with it. So that's what all those are from. Hyreth, this is a short story that I wrote. Actually, the first short story I wrote last year when I was getting back into writing. So when I got back into writing, I kind of did like a September short story month where I wrote one short story a week in the month of September. Maybe I should do that again. Let me know if you'd be interested in doing a challenge like that. September is the only month that has an S in the name. So we could maybe not wait until September. Maybe we can come up with another name. But if you're interested in doing like a short story writing challenge, let me know. We can do that together. So yeah, dystopian, you know, YA vibes. We're here for it. I will write a dystopian YA at some point. Some Taylor Swift references. I'm not sure what those are about. I think these pins are from that story that I was talking about, that If the World Was Ending, because I read Mistakes Were Made, Some Mistakes Were Made, which is such a good book. It's literally like a Taylor Swift song as a YA book. I love it so much. Prepare to Have Your Heart Shattered, so get tissues. It is so amazing. So I think that was the vibes of those. Just some random dark academia vibes. Whoa. Oh, these I think all went to the Red short stories that I also wrote last year when Taylor's version of Red came back out. That is a series that I should revisit. Not in the way that I initially started it, but I really like the way that I created those characters and their interconnections. So that's a story that I would like to revisit, a project that I would like to revisit at some point. I don't read a lot of dark academia, but it's a genre that I am interested in getting back into. And then these are all pins from my NaNoWriMo project for 2021, which was the Jade Ravens. I don't remember what it was originally called. But that's what all these Gatsby-esque vibe pin fantasy things are for. So I think it's time to put together a board for an idea I have brewing. Actually, I'm going to take you through one more board that is like just a dedicated board. And then we will make our own board for a little idea that I have brewing right now. So this is an example of a dedicated board. I have it set the title as When We Were Legends. It is secret. I don't really know why, because like there's no info here on like what the plot is, but I have this idea for like a serial story that is I'm really into like Critical Role. I have never played D&D in my life. That's something that I'm going to try to do next year. And I actually have like a solo campaign that I'm starting soon. But I love just like the vibes of D&Ds, and I have Legends and Lattes on my shelf to read very soon. I'm excited to get into that book. But I have this idea for like what happens when you're like an adventuring party, like you're a couple, you meet in an adventure, like you're doing all these grand extravagant things, and then you realize it's maybe time to settle down. And there's not a lot of fantasy out there that revolves around like where I am at in my life, which is like a 30-year-old mom of two. But like I had a whole life before I had kids, and before I met my husband even. So I kind of wanted to like explore that a little bit. So I have this idea for a serial type of story that revolves around a married couple who used to be adventurers, hence the name When We Were Legends. And basically the one sentence synopsis is that something happens, their child is threatened, and they need to take up adventuring again to, they have to go on an adventure, on a quest with their child because they don't want to lose said child. And, hilarity ensues, action ensues, etc. I was thinking about like what it would be like if me and my husband had to like go on a journey or like a quest to like save one of our kids, and yeah, it went from there. So this is just like the aesthetic that I have for it. I really love this idea. So I don't know when I'm gonna write it, but it's just brewing in the back of my brain right now. And yeah, so that's what this board is. And you can see like kind of how the aesthetic works. And then I can go again down here, find more pins. And this is what I do is I'll just start pinning. And once I get like a good base for the story, I will, maybe come in here and start adding things to the board. Okay, so we are going to create a board for a new idea that I have, which I don't really have a working title for. I guess I should have thought of that before I started doing this, before I hit record. So let's just call it Mystery Magical Objects for now. That's not very creative. So Pinterest is suggesting some things to me. I don't think there's anything in here. So my idea for this story is that there is a character, our main character, is tasked with returning to her hometown, and going through her late grandmother's belongings. And while she's there, she discovers that some of these belongings have magical properties. Previously, she did not know magic existed. So, I know one of these things is going to be a teacup. Oh, I don't want to do it there. Let's change it to all pins. Vintage teacup. So let's see if I can find a teacup that I like. So this is what I'll do is I'll just, make a board and kind of start putting things on it. So what did I call that? Mystery magical objects. So we can go back here. Let me see if there are any ideas in here that I like based on that pin. So you can see already that it has kind of changed what it's suggesting to me. I know this is like a Harry Potter thing, but I actually really like this mirror. I think this would be so cool to like have written in somebody, like in a character's house. So I'm going to save that. You can type in things like, if I go back to all pins, like you can see here that like Pinterest knows me so well. We've got bullet journaling, study motivation. I don't study, but like these are the aesthetic of pins that I have been liking recently. Book lovers, book quotes, writing prompts, and story inspiration. So I'm actually going to click on this story inspiration and see what it has to offer me. I feel like this is actually from the Scorpio races. Yes, it is. This is the best book I have ever read. It is my favorite book in the entire world. I just read it recently. Our Dead Drink the Sea. Like, I mean, iconic. Hayden Christensen. More Hayden Christensen. So yeah, I will just kind of search for inspiration. So like I'm getting a lot of like sea vibes. Maybe she lives by the sea, so I kind of like that. I don't really have any idea in my head for like the setting or anything right now. It's just like I got this idea when I was visiting home for Thanksgiving, so I'd like to find like a face cast for her. So this is for the main character. So this is kind of the style of pin that I will use if I'm looking for character inspiration. I don't like having like the full face because that kind of doesn't help me as much as having like bits of a face, like the eyes, or like, you know, like clothing, that sort of thing, like hands and objects. So I don't see anything in this pin, but that is what I look for when I'm looking for like face casts. Sometimes if I'm doing like something more serious, I'll look for like scenes like this. But this is it a contemporary? It's a contemporary with fantastical elements, I think. Let's actually think that one of the things that I wanted to look at was like this cottagecore grandma vibes type of thing, to see if I could find anything that would stick out to me for this story. Like I said, I don't really have a lot planned out for it. I actually have nothing planned out for it yet. It's just something that I'm in the brain grandma core aesthetic. That's what I wanted. If you see this is Pinterest trying to get you to shop. That's not what we're trying to do right now. Although I would love to explore the shop section of this Pinterest. We know there's going to be tea, and I want this story to be like really cozy and playful. I have never written anything like this. This is a promoted image, so it's not going to let me, I can save it, but it's not going to let me click on it to see it bigger, but I really like the aesthetic of this girl here. So I'll keep an eye out for pins like that. But yeah, you know, like I like this idea of like the bike. If it's a seaside town, maybe she has to bike around, and like maybe she has to get there via ferry. And so you can really see like how visual elements and like this act of like going through and making like a book aesthetic basically can really help you to brainstorm more ideas. I've seen people do this also with like sketchbooks and drawings. So like they sketch out what's in their mind, like what they know about the story, and then that kind of just builds and grows from there. I know I want there to be like some sort of like a second chance romance in this story as well. But again, I don't know any of the details of that. Just cozy vibes, playful vibes, second chance romance. You know, that is the gist of what I have for this story right now. So like I really like this photo, but I don't know if this setting is like necessarily right. But I like the way that these houses, I'm assuming this is like in England, based on I think these are thatched roofs. So yeah, just kind of like keeping the vibes in mind, to really kind of let your mind wander. And this is usually where I start, if I want a story idea or if I'm working on a story idea. If I have literally no ideas for stories, this is where I come to, is Pinterest. I like this picture with the cat. Is it going to have magical vibes? Should there be a black cat involved? I feel like there should. So, yeah, I did write down a list of other objects. I think one was a mirror, so let's vintage hand mirror. Yeah, so like, I love these. So pretty. I really like this one. This one is like calling to me, so we're gonna put that in there. Something else that I had in mind for this story is like, really part of what inspired this story was, you know, the grandma's bag in Halloween Town, where it's just like an endless bag. Halloween Town bag. I wonder if it'll show up. Oh, this is like shops. Yeah, like their grandma's bag where it like comes. I wonder if we can, if it'll like show the bag. I mean, the bag is like such like a minuscule part of this movie, but my brain is like fixated on the idea of that bag and how it just is like, you know, an object and also like alive and also just like an endless bag. Yeah, so anyways, that is my writerly Pinterest, how I use Pinterest as a writer. If you have questions, please leave your comments down below. Let me know how you use Pinterest if you're a writer. And if there's any ideas that you want to see that are like this, let me know as well, because I love Pinterest. I could talk about it all day. Definitely, it's a free tool, so if you're not on Pinterest, I highly recommend getting on there. There's no pressure to create content. You can like do story pins and that sort of thing, but there's no pressure to create content, and that's why I really, really like it. And it's just full of ideas and inspiration. So yeah, happy writing, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for being here.